kind of getting to approach all of those elements with one
So good to meet you.
Pleasure.
Now, fans have been speculating that your character is the serial killer, but you bring the human to life in Edmund. How did you do that, and what was it like playing him?
It was absolutely exhilarating to be a part of this anthology. I mean, I'm a fan of season one. I think, well, Edmund he's an aspiring actor. He's trying to find his way. I think, yeah, he's just like anybody else, alone and looking for some sense of identity. He's an interesting person. I don't know if he's anything else besides that.
Exactly. Now, what I love what Little Marvin does is we see the horror on screen, but we're also seeing the horrors of what has happened in history and what people are facing and just how America still hasn't completely moved forward and hasn't really, done right by what they have done in the past. What else would you like to see for the future seasons of them?
Lil Marvin is brilliant. I'm looking forward to the unknowing what he has planned for next, and I hope I'm a part of it. I think he has a brilliant voice, and speaking to that, to those issues. I think he's a historian. And I think he has a brilliant way of tailoring
It's a
horror.
brilliant eye and a mind.
Oh my God.
And it's just so visually pleasing.
It's such a ride. Trust me, it's such a ride. I mean, when he gets here, he's a ride.
His aura.
Oh my God, right? And I'm just grateful to be a part of something working with such a mind. And I've learned so much from this.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Now, what serial killer have you read about that most terrifies you? Now, we don't want to link Edmund to anything else, but there was also a serial killer called Ed Gein from back in the day, and I was kind of like connecting the two, but if you had to pick a very notorious, terrifying serial killer that you'd be afraid of, who would it be?
I don't know if I have one.
They're all scary to me.
Yeah. I need to think about that. Maybe I don't know.
But we follow back up with that one. Now, Them makes you jump and scream out of your seat. What's one other movie or TV show that has the same effect for you?
Oh, wow. I know. There was Goosebumps. Yeah, it used to trip me out on Saturdays.
Goosebumps as a kid watching at Halloween in England was truly terrifying.
Each time it was something of a child being eaten.
Oh my God.
I remember there was an episode where a child came to dinner and he was like, "What's for dinner?" And the people changed into something else and they said, "You are."
Oh my God.
That freaked me out. Goosebumps.
Well, there's a new Goosebumps out now.
Yeah.
They're filming season 2. It's actually really good. It's different, but it's really good. It's on
I
Hulu.
can tap into it.
You have to tap into it. It's real good.
It's kids?
Well, it's more like a group of teenagers that
Okay.
get like stuck in a house, and then there's a crazy ventriloquist doll. But it's like
that's
different,
creepy.
but it's kind of like with a modern twist. But it's still scary.
That's
Very
absolutely
scary.
creepy.
I don't like dolls anymore.
Yeah.
This is as far as I can put it.
I'm going to tap into it.
Tap into it. Thank you
Watch it
so
at
much.
night.
I'm so excited to see you with this.
Thank you.
Fan of the first series, and myself and fans have labeled them as the most scariest thing they have seen, but also the most thought-provoking horror anthology.
Yeah.
What's your reaction to that, and how is this season different for you?
I mean, it makes sense. I feel like a lot of the things that we covered in the first installment, it feels right to kind of explore it through the lens of horror, because a lot of the things that the characters were going through were quite horrific, and as were a lot of things that real people went through during that time. So, for me, it just feels like such a beautiful development of the story, because at its core, Them is about family, it's about love, and it's about the things that try to attack that and how, they overcome. And that it felt like we stayed true to those roots, and we just told a slightly different story. And it was I just feel like it has been beautifully done. And I'm saying that as a viewer, not even, starring in it. Yeah.
Now, what I love about what Little Marvin has done here is that we're not also seeing the horror on screen, but we're seeing the horrors that have been inflicted through American history. What would you like for future seasons to touch on?
Ooh, you know what? Ellen is such a genius. And when I think of my little basic ideas, I feel like he comes out. No, because he just takes it to places that I'm like, how could you? Because when we did the first installment, I was like, how do you top this? Like, where would we take this? And then lo and behold,
this.
second installment. So I don't know. I don't know if he'll bring it to present day. I don't know where he will take it. But if you'll have me, I am along for the ride.
We need you in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth installment. It was so great meeting you, and I can't wait to see you back here again.
So much.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you as well.
Thank you. I have to ask. Recently, this month, we celebrated 50 years of Foxy Brown. That movie set the stone for everything. And beautiful then, beautiful now. One thing I want to ask about, which I actually was doing some interviews with the Fall Guy, and we were talking about stuntmen and women. You did your own stunts for that movie, which in itself is iconic. What was that like?
Painful.
Oh my God.
I didn't have a stunt person at the time.
Insane.
So I had to use my gifts in martial arts as best to my ability as possible so I'm not injured and not frighten off other actors who want to do what I'm doing. So we need protection. The Stuntmen and Women's Organization saved the industry, saved us from harm, and really providing the performance for the audience that looks realistic. We don't want our audience to say, "Oh, I can't believe that," and walk out. I'd be horrified. But they did it for me after coughing, because I didn't have it up until then, and I got injured. But I wanted to look realistic, authentic.
And thank you so much for sharing that, because we see amazing things on the screen, but there needs to be more of an appreciation for what you did and like what we are seeing for our enjoyment.
Thank you.
Now, back to them. This show, character is Mama Bear, but she's also harboring secrets. What's the biggest or hardest secret you've ever had to keep?
That I have money buried in the backyard.
I think we all do.
I really haven't harbored any secrets. I'm like a horse. I'm quite honest and open, but not like hers.
Thank you so much. It was so wonderful meeting you. I love everything you've done, and I appreciate all of your work. Thank you.
Thank you. See you in the next one.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.